In April 1912, the RMS Titanic, hailed as the era's largest, most luxurious, and even unsinkable ocean liner, set sail from Southampton on her maiden voyage to New York with 2,224 people aboard. Captain Edward J. Smith, a respected veteran nearing retirement, commanded a ship designed by Thomas Andrews of Harland and Wolff. Andrews' meticulous plans included 16 watertight compartments and an advanced Marconi wireless system. Beneath the grand staircases and gilded salons, separated by harsh class divisions, lay the engines. 3 massive triple-expansion steam engines and a low-pressure turbine, along with the modern comforts that fed public hubris. Confidence ran high on board, but beneath that calm and icy, murderous threat waited to shatter everything. On April 14, 1912, Titanic's operators had already logged ice warnings from steamers including Mesaba and the nearby Californian. The night was moonless and the sea unnaturally calm. Captain Edward J. Smith kept the ship near maximum speed, confident in her watertight design. High in the crow's nest, Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee strained their eyes until, at 11:40 p.m. ship's time, one of them shouted, "Iceberg right ahead," and struck the warning bell. First Officer William Murdoch ordered, "Hard a starboard," and the engines put astern, but it was too late. The hull rasped and steel plates groaned as a jagged scar opened along the starboard bow. On deck, there was stunned silence, then sudden screams and icy panic. On the bridge, officers exchanged bleak looks. Thomas Andrews went below to inspect, and crew began the brutal, factual work of prying open doors, lighting lamps, and assessing the flooded compartments. Thomas Andrews moved through cold steel corridors and measured the ugly truth. 5 forward watertight compartments had been breached. The bow was low, and the list was fatal. Titanic would sink within hours. He told Captain Edward J. Smith and J. Bruce Ismay the grim estimate, and crews scrambled to launch lifeboats built for only 1,178 souls, while 2,224 were aboard. Wireless operators Jack Phillips and Harold Bride sent CQD and SOS calls. RMS Carpathia, under Captain Arthur Rostron, answered and raced to the scene. On deck, officers and stewards wrestled with davits, lowering boats half full amid icy gusts, shouting and the metallic smell of cold death. Locked gangways and staircases turned steerage passengers into trapped prey, fueling violent scuffles as women in first class reached safety sooner. The evacuation fractured order and pushed the ship toward its catastrophic finale. Flooding surged as black seawater gnawed at the bulkheads. The bow settled deeper while the stern began to lift, testing Titanic's riveted seams until metal seemed to scream. Power failed as boilers flooded and generators went down. Wireless fell silent when Jack Phillips and Harold Bride lost power, cutting off many last pleas for rescue. Lifeboats swung down, many launched half-empty as officers enforced women and children, and davits strained, ropes creaking against a ship that listed toward the abyss. On deck, the 8-member band, led by Wallace Hartley, played defiantly. Their music threaded through the screams, a human chord against chaos. Thomas Andrews moved among survivors, urging calm and helping to lower boats. Captain Smith stayed on the bridge, steady. Small choices, men stepping back, mothers clutching infants, stokers forcing open doors, became acts of heroism and grim sacrifice as the night hurtled toward rupture. In the early hours of April 15, 1912, the stern of the Titanic rose as the hull tore. With a sickening groan, she broke apart and slipped beneath the North Atlantic. Around 1,500 of the 2,224 people aboard would die. Scattered across the black, icy water, lifeboats held occupants numb and shivering, haunted by distant screams and the sound of metal ripping. Captain Edward J. Smith remained aboard and went down with the ship, and Thomas Andrews, the ship's designer, stayed among the doomed and did not survive. Survivors in flimsy boats clung to blankets and to each other, listening to an agonized silence and praying for rescue. At about 4 a.m. on April 15, 1912, the RMS Carpathia, under Captain Arthur Rostron, reached the survivors and pulled those suffering from hypothermia out of the icy Atlantic. The inquiries led by U.S. Senator William Alden Smith and Lord Mersey triggered major reforms: enough lifeboats for everyone, a 24-hour wireless watch, standardized distress procedures, the 1914 Solace Treaty, and the International Ice Patrol. Robert Ballard's 1985 discovery of the Titanic wreck is a stark reminder that technology, regulation, and human choices all have to line up when crisis hits.